welcome back to the Black Wallflowers podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Taylor,
And Myra.
and we are two Black introverted women discussing daily life while navigating an extroverted world.
Okay, so for my random this week, I guess it's really not random because it's what's been going on, like the craze that's been all over Black Twitter, all over Facebook now, because Facebook gets stuff like 2 days after Twitter.
Right.
But so I was just like, I have never seen any advertisement from Popeyes on this chicken sandwich. I've only heard about it through like Black Twitter and
Mm,
basically social media. Like, how crazy is it that basically, and I say Black Twitter because it's mostly us as Black people that are like kind of talking about it and raving about it. Uh,
mm-hmm.
we have so much influence.
Yes.
Like when it comes to like social media, like it is insane. Like I would have never known they had this new chicken sandwich out, and I am so hyped to try it.
Are
Like,
you?
yeah, I really am. And it's like Popeyes ain't showed me not one advertisement, or at least maybe I'm not watching enough TV, but you know how you scroll through social media and you kind of see ads that'll pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything about this chicken sandwich, and I was talking to my mom. She was like, "Yeah, we actually had it before we went on the cruise, and that was like two.
Mm.
So yeah, they've been had it out. I guess maybe somebody really popular said something about it, and it took off from there."
Yeah.
But I'm like, I didn't even know, and I was like, wow, that is so crazy that we are so influential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
The power
and
of social media.
yeah, like even to the point where my grandpa went to pick up Ash, and my grandpa was like, "Have you tried that sandwich?" Like, how
Wow.
you know about it? I was like, "Did you see an ad?" Like, nah. He was like, it was on the news or something. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
First of all, slow news day, but
Right.
wow. Like that is amazing that we have such an influential
Mm-hmm.
power when it comes to social media, to where like I don't even think it would be selling out and crazy how it is if it wasn't for Black Twitter or
Mm.
Black social power, so to speak.
Is it because it's chicken, and so that's why we got so much to say? You think? Like, I know
I
that's
don't know.
stereotypical, but like,
See, I don't know because there has been other things. Like I don't know if you remember that picture where some people were seeing it as like a
mm,
gold dress and other people
yeah.
as a blue dress. That was Black Twitter too. So I mean, I don't
Mm,
know. I just think we have that overall power, and it's like,
yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
this is crazy. So where like news outlets are picking it up too, like that's
Hmm.
insane.
Yeah, that's crazy how much power we have.
Yeah, but
And I
now,
haven't. I don't know. I don't. I mean, I'm watching and listening to like and reading like on social media and everything. But I'm like, I like Chick-fil-A. So I don't know. Like I love their I love Popeyes biscuits, but I've never been like, oh man, I want some chicken from Popeyes. But yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna stick with Chick-fil-A. But you said you're gonna try both of them?
yeah, well, I'm usually if I do get a sandwich at Chick-fil-A, it's the spicy chicken sandwich. So I think I'm going to try the spicy one at
Mhm.
Popeyes, just because I never eat just the regular chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. But for me, like Popeyes and Chick-fil-A was like in two different lanes, because Popeyes was like pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is nuggets and sandwiches. So
Hmm.
now that they got this chicken sandwich, it's like, oh, now are they like
Mm.
on the same playing field? But I don't know. I definitely want to try it. I can't believe
Okay.
y'all gonna stay loyal.
Yep. Yep. We like what we like. So
um,
I'm sorry. I know you said you like the spicy chickens. Do you eat yours with honey mustard on it? When I have a
no,
spicy chicken
actually,
sandwich, I put some honey mustard on it. Eat it like that. It's so good.
I don't like honey mustard for real.
Really?
No,
Who
Chuck
doesn't like honey mustard?
Yeah, Chuck will eat honey mustard on pretty much anything, but I mean, I'll eat it, but it's not like my first choice. I typically use their honey roasted barbecue and mayo. I put that on there, but yeah, the honey mustard, nah.
Wow, I learn something every day. I had no idea. I love me some honey mustard.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Sweet.
Well, that was kind of random. Well, not really, because it has
Yeah, that's what
popping
it's
on
not
social
really
media.
random
Yeah.
because it's kind of relevant, but yeah, I was just really amazed about how the power that we have. Like
Mhm.
we just have so much influence on the world. It's
Right.
crazy.
um. Well, my random thought today is related to the chicken thing. um. But on our group chat today, remember they were talking about how they were gonna go try the Popeyes and everything, and it reminded me. One, I haven't had Popeyes in a long time. Two, it reminded me of the time when I was pregnant, like multiple times I had Ray run a Popeyes for me just to give me like 2 or 3 biscuits. Like just randomly, I'll be like, "Hey, on your way home, can you stop? I just want 2 biscuits." Well, babe, like I think at one point it was like you buy three, you get one for free or something like that. I said,
Mhm.
"No, do not bring me four. Only want three." You know how you can be when you're pregnant or whatever. But
Yeah.
um, it was so funny, like that happened often or whatever. Like that's really what I craved. Um, but was there like when you were pregnant, was there something that you were like, man, I gotta have this right now, and you would send Chuck to go get it for you?
Mm, see, mine's I don't really think Chuck really went out and get it because I was really into pickled juice. Like I didn't want to eat the actual pickles. I just wanted to drink the juice. So that
Pickle
was my
juice.
yeah, just the juice, like out the jar. So he didn't really have to go run and get it. It was like, when we went grocery shopping, I just pick up a
Mm,
couple jars of it. But yeah, that was my thing, pickle juice. Like I didn't want to eat them. And then so it was at a point in time where I had my own jar because I was drinking out of it and Chuck didn't want to eat the pickles
wow.
out of there, so he
Uh-huh.
had a separate jar. But yeah, that was my thing.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
and
great.
Kona Ice. He did have to go get me some Kona Ice before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had that for the first time over the summer.
Yeah, it's so good. I
Yeah.
mean, but you know what? When I had it after I was pregnant, I'm like, I mean, it's good, but not as much as I was hyping it up when
Right.
she was pregnant. But yeah, that stuff is so good.
Mm.
Yeah, that was my thing. Pickle juice and Kona Ice, which I guess if people listening don't really know, it's kind of like a what is something that
Shaved
everybody
ice.
yeah, like shaved ice, but you get to pick like your own flavoring and things like that.
And it wasn't like that watered down, kind of sugary, kind of not. Like the flavors were like really good and like it lasted throughout the cup.
Yeah, for sure. That's so good. I want one now.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this week's topic, we are pretty much going to discuss our experiences becoming mothers and being mothers, also while being introverted.
Hmm.
Typically, especially it starts out as soon as you let people know that you're pregnant. A lot of people are more talkative, want to, discuss baby life and parenting life with you. And I know it can be kind of tough to like jump into these conversations, especially with people you don't even know for real.
Hmm.
I swear, be like the most randomest people they know. Found out you pregnant, they want to talk about stuff.
Hmm.
But that is pretty much what our topic is going to be today. And I was like searching through Pinterest, just like looking for things to kind of chat about this week. And I found this really somewhat awkward article about it was mainly about introverts when they're pregnant.
Hmm.
So I'm pulling it up now and I wanted to kind of go over it with you real quick. I'm going to read it off to you and let me know what you think because I just
Okay.
found this to be really weird. So basically, kind of to sum up this article, like this mom is like trying to work through her kids are basically toddlers, at least at the time that she wrote this article. So she's trying to work through her introvert or is it ness? Is that a word? Introvertness?
It sounds
It's,
right.
it's word today. But she's trying to work through it to where you know how we kind of need that space to kind of be away from people and kind of decompose and compress.
Hmm.
So she basically said that it was important for her to run away and lock herself into her bathroom to get a few moments to herself. So I'm like,
Hmm.
Um, it's like when your kids, and from what I'm understanding, I could be assuming, she doesn't mention like the her mate, her partner,
Mm.
whoever she's with. She doesn't mention them at all in this article. So I'm like, are you just leaving 3, 4 year olds by
Right.
themselves? Are you doing this during nap time? Like what? That wasn't really clear to me. So I'm like, what do you think about that? Like, is it that serious to the point where you need to, or has it
Mm.
ever been that serious?
No, no, it's never been that serious, especially like when I was a stay-at-home mom for a little over a year, I never was like, "Oh, let me leave these kids in the living room in front of the TV and go have, a half hour to myself, who I need to
Mhm.
decompress." Never when it's just me and the kids, but when Ray come home, I'm like, "Hey, babe, can you take care of the kids? Let me, have like a half hour or so to myself." But with just them, no. No, and I think I'm hoping like she's talking about like maybe when her spouse gets home or something and not she just leaving her kids and locking herself in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that's not the case.
yeah, it's like I can't really assume that because she didn't really mention like her partner or anything in this article, but she goes on to list 7 things that makes parenting as an introvert very challenging,
Mm.
and her that top one was needing a solo time, and then this one also like kind of rubbed me the wrong way too. It's we resist noise, interruption, and disorder, all of which kids specialize in. So I'm like, I I mean, I like quiet, but
Hmm.
also, like she said, that's what kids specialize in.
Right.
So if that is something that, you despise or that is challenging to you,
You
why are
shouldn't
you?
have no kids.
Okay, thank you. I'm like,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right. So I'm like, I don't want to say why are you having kids, but why are you having kids?
Hmm.
I don't know. This article, this was the only one that I kind of article that I found, and I'll link it in the show notes for anybody who's interested in reading it. But this I was looking up little articles that we can discuss, and this was the only one that kind of really connected as being an introvert and raising children. And I'm like, this is insane. I don't think this person should even have kids the way
Hmm.
they're talking. But yeah, that's just like I want to bring this up and make sure I'm not being over judgmental or
Mm-mm. No,
like
no.
this.
Sound like she needs some help around the household, something, or needs some relief. Maybe she is a single mother, needs some time for real.
I don't know.
But
Maybe I have to like go through her blog and see. I don't have time for that, but didn't really mention, having a spouse or a mate helping her out or anybody helping her out. Because here's another point, which is point number 5. We struggle to build a supportive village and this is the time that we need it most. And I find that with at least for me, I'm gonna speak for myself as an introvert. I have a really supportive village because I
Mhm.
create my little small circle of 3 to 4 people, that I can lean on. I don't know. I feel like this person is equating introvertness with antisocialness, and that's
Right.
not.
Yeah. It sounds like
we
that's what
have
she's dealing with.
yeah, we have people that we can go to for support. We just don't have. We don't consider that many people,
Right.
who we
Yeah.
support. Like,
Yeah. Like there's only a few people I trust with my kids. Even right now at 7 years old, there's only a few people I'm like that I can call up and be like, hey, can you watch my kids? Um. Yeah. Yeah. She needs some help.
yeah, that's like I'm like, wow, this one. I was like, let me run this by somebody else because was the only one that I could find. I'm like, wow, there's really nobody out here like talking about this. Like I know we clearly out here.
Mhm.
It's 2 of us,
Yeah.
right? So like we clearly out here. So I'm like, wow, nobody's really talking about this. But I guess kind of a follow-up question for you, like with you, I guess you have a little bit more experience than I do.
Mhm.
But how did you how did you first transition into, well, I guess take us back to like your pregnancy. Did you kind of run into issues with, trying to discuss the boys at the time, and I don't know, like, did you have like random people come up to you, like try to discuss?
Yes, definitely, especially coworkers. Like, even, still to this day, I'm the type of worker where I come in, say hi, do my work, goodbye, go
Mm,
home. I'm not, really chit chat in the hallway about my social life or anything like that. So when I was pregnant, people, my coworkers and everything found out. It was a lot of questions. Oh, what are you having? What are their names? Um, do you want more after this? Can I touch your belly, or just coming up and touching my belly anyway? And so with me being not super social in the workplace, and then all of a sudden I'm pregnant, you want to come up and talk to me and touch me and stuff.
mhm.
That was a lot to kind of deal with. And I'm not somebody who will be like, hey, back up, don't touch me. I just kind of dealt with it, and then I was crying on the inside. um, so yeah, that was definitely a lot to deal with. And then when they did finally come, they had some health issues and everything. So
Mm.
I was still getting a whole lot of questions from that. How are they doing? When are they coming home? I am, even though yet we have this podcast, I have a vlog channel. I am a very private person,
Mhm.
so my answers were very vague. Guess you're still in the hospital. They're doing okay. No, we don't know when they're coming home. Just very, very vague with people. Um, so I don't know if that's the introvert kind of thing, or just me being kind of a private person when it comes to me and my family. Um, what about you?
Um, I would agree. Luckily, for majority of my pregnancy, I wasn't like in the workplace, so I didn't get people like coming up to me and touching me. Um, when I did find out that I was, well, not found out, but when I announced it, like when I was in the workplace, I had people asking me if I knew what I was having. Like I'm 4 months. Like how like
Right.
like like it just I don't know. I feel like I'm not as approachable,
Mm,
or maybe it was just at that workplace. I kind of think it was just at that workplace
mhm,
that people didn't really come up to me and talk, but they did, kind of ask, well, what do you want? Or do you have any names picked out? I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out
yeah.
myself right now. Like that's all, this is too much. And then I feel like I got a lot more questions and comments from like my family. And it could have
Mhm,
been, like I said, because I spent most of my pregnancy out of the workforce. So I got a lot of, once I found out that I was having a boy, you should do this, you should name him this.
mm.
What are you gonna do? Like what school he's gonna go to? Like he's not even born yet. Like why
Right.
why does this even matter? So I think I struggled with that, because I felt like a lot of people were just asking those questions to make conversation. They weren't really meaningful questions.
Yeah.
So that goes back to like, I don't really like small talk, and it was kind of coming off as small talk topics. Like,
Mhm.
oh, how about this weather? It was coming off like that, and so that would
Right.
take me, that would irritate me even more. Too many people like just come up and touch me.
Mhm.
Most of the people that did touch me asked first, which I really appreciated. Although the answer was always no, but at least at least you asked. I think the only person that touched me was like my mom, because I can't say no to my mom. And then Chuck. I don't even think my sister touched me.
Mm.
I'm not the touchy feely type, but I
Yeah.
appreciate people not like just going for it and asking me first.
Do you feel like since you've had a child, do you feel like you're more sociable, I guess?
I feel the urge to want to be around other moms. Um, I honestly feel the urge to want to be around other moms, not only that has kids that's Ashton's age, but also like people who, have older kids, that's kind of been through the process, like potty training and
Mhm.
what I have to look into it for like school, because I kind of take from people experiences to kind of make my own, like for like if I ask for advice pretty much. So I
Mhm.
like to pull from other people's experiences. I know I've asked y'all like, what did y'all feed the boys?
Right.
So I think that's really helpful because if I only have friends that were, had children that's Ashton age, we can't get feedback from each other because we're going through the same stuff right now.
Right.
I think it's really important for me to have other friends that has not only his age but also older, so I can pull from their experiences too.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that too. Um, I feel like since I've had them, and even as they've gotten older, I've become more sociable. I mean, just going to different events, birthday
Hmm.
parties. They've been in school for a few years now, so I've also gotten a little bit better at small talk too. Like when we went to the meet the teacher at the school last week, I spoke to a couple ladies, in the classroom and everything too. So I definitely feel like having a voice has made me more sociable and more able to hold random conversations a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess I could see that as well. As far as like wanting to go out and do stuff with
Mm.
Ashton. Um, Although I'm thinking like I've been invited to like four four different birthday parties this year, which I'm assuming I wasn't invited to before because I didn't have any kids. But
Mm.
I don't think that I would be willing to, go out to these birthday parties. And they're like for family members and stuff because, usually they'll invite family even though they don't have kids.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like if I didn't have Ashton, I would be up and willing to go out and do those things.
Mm.
But I think
Hmm.
that's more so for Ashton and not for myself. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm more willing to deal with other people. I know that sounds kind of terrible, but I'm more willing to deal with other people and their children if it means that Ashton can have some fun, so to
Right.
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way, but I also feel like kids are like the perfect reason to like not go somewhere. Like if you really don't want to
Yes.
go nowhere, like you used to feel bad, like, oh, I really don't want to go. You kind of feel guilty. But then if you have a child, sorry, we're not gonna be able to make it. He has to be in bed at this time, or we have this
Hmm.
or that to go to tomorrow. And people normally don't really fight you about it. So yeah, I feel like kids are the perfect excuse when you really don't want to do something. And you're also looking out for your child too. Like you don't want to go somewhere if they going somewhere it might be hot or something. You got to deal with the child, maybe throwing a fit, or when it's time to go, they
Hmm.
throwing a tantrum. It's a lot to have to deal with. It's more than just taking your child. You have to deal with them there when it's time to go and all of that. So,
Yeah, and I think it's a more of a hassle the younger they are too, because you have
mm,
to take along a lot more stuff. Like with Ashton right now, I don't know if he's going to eat the food that you have, so I have to make sure I have food for him.
mhm,
Of course, diapers and stuff, so I'm carrying that around. But yeah, I totally agree. Not even excuse to like get out of stuff, but excuse to leave early too.
mhm. I know we were talking about this earlier this week. I think it was mommy guilt.
Hmm.
I know you were saying you kind of deal with that too, and even me now with the boys being a little bit older, I still kind of deal with that. Um, like just that mommy guilt when it comes to leaving the house or doing something without them, and also spending too, especially with me with spending. Um, it's easier for me to spend money on them, buying them clothes or toys or things that they really
Hmm.
want or need, than to go out and get myself something that I've always wanted or something. You deal with that too?
Yes, I just bought myself a pair of shoes, and that took everything out of me to buy.
Mm.
'Cause it was like, okay, 'cause they were like the shoes that I had, they're super comfortable. I'm kind of upset they don't sell those no more, but they were like starting to get a little run down. And I'm like, I have to buy myself something. But in between that, like I've bought Ashton like a million and one things.
Mm.
So, and I felt so bad because I had Ashton with me when I went out and got him, and I didn't get him anything. And he don't care right now, but I
Yeah.
still feel like, ah, I'm a terrible mom. I didn't get him anything,
Right.
but I bought
Yeah.
myself something. So, yeah, I struggle with that a lot, especially with workouts during the week
Mhm.
because he's a huge mama's boy. Like, Cause I
Mhm.
pick him up and drop him off. So once I pick him up, he's excited to be with me. And then when I have to go work out, I literally have to basically leave him with his dad as soon as I get him. So he kind
Mhm.
of gets sad about it, but it's
Mhm.
kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Taj. He was a mama's boy for probably 3, maybe 4 years.
Hmm.
He would cry when me and Ray would like go on a date or something, or they would go to daycare or something like that. But yeah, that's thankfully has gotten not better, but it's completely gone. He's, not a mama's boy or anything anymore. But that's definitely a lot to deal with. And then like, especially when it comes to like going on trips and everything. I know y'all haven't been on a
Hmm.
trip yet without Ashton, but we do have one, in the next few months. I remember our first trip, the boys they were like a year and a half, maybe two, and that was definitely hard, but it's so necessary just to have that time away, just to have that adult time, and then of course you're leaving your child with somebody who you really trust,
Yeah.
but then also in your mind you're thinking, oh my gosh, is he okay? Is he taken care of? Is he missing me? Um, so yeah, that's a lot. Are you nervous about that, about the trip?
Um, I don't think it really has hit me yet. I
Mm.
think what I'll be most nervous about is not being able to just pick up the phone and, call
Mhm.
him because
Yeah.
what we're doing, we won't have any service or anything for the most part. So I would really have to schedule out, a time to call him. And I'm like, what if they don't answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it hasn't really hit me too much yet, but I know it will. I think he'll be okay. I mean, luckily he's a good kid to where, when I do drop him off for like work and stuff, he doesn't cry or anything. He doesn't really cry like when I leave him with Chuck, like to go work out, but he's always like reaching out for me to pick him up, that
Aw.
type of thing. So I think that's gonna probably be the hardest
Mhm.
when I leave him. But like you said, it's necessary, and I'm excited for it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. And then the other couple we're going with, I don't know if she's announced or anything yet, so I don't want to say her name, but the other couple we're going with, she has a child too, and I remember she was telling me she's excited to, really have that mommy and daddy time away from the child. Not that, of course, we of course still love our kids and everything, but just having
Hmm.
that adult time is so necessary.
Yeah, it's a huge transition. Like, I mean, you guys have done, this kind of trip before, but we still are trying to. For real, I think all mothers are still trying to adjust because every kid is at a different stage in their life. But it's just been a really huge transition for us to have Ashton and to be able to take a break from that for a week or so. It's
Mhm.
just, I think it'll basically recharge us once we get back.
Mhm.
How do you feel about parenting advice? Well, more specifically, unwanted parenting advice. Do you
Mm.
still receive that? I know, a lot of um, moms get that early on. Like I still get it for real. But have you seen the decrease as they gotten older, or did you still get it as much as you did before?
I've seen a decrease, but I think that might be just because I've kind of showed everyone what advice I like. One, I don't really need advice, or like I don't unless I ask you for advice, I don't want it. So I
Mm,
think just over the years, maybe people have learned, okay, let me not give her my advice unless she's asking, or unless it's something, that could be, detrimental or something like that. So I think maybe just over the years, people have just kind of learned what kind of mom I am, what kind of person I am. I don't need advice unless I ask you. But definitely early on, we did get a lot of advice from people. But I would like take the advice, but I'm not I wouldn't shut them down or anything like that, but, like, when I get home, I'll be like, "Babe, did you hear Aunt so and so talking about some? I need to breastfeed," so I
mhm.
would never say anything to anybody's face, but once I get home, I'll be like, "I can't believe she said that." Did you get any Or are you still getting any?
I feel like I still am, but it's typically from like the older people in my life. Like my mom has really starting to do it too,
Mm.
and she probably listened to this, but but it's like it just clicked. I don't know if it's like a grandmotherly thing, but
Mm.
she with me growing up and being an adult, she usually let me make my own mistakes,
Mm.
so she wouldn't like say, hey, you shouldn't do that. But if I would ask her, she would give, honest advice. But since Ashton has been here, it's been more like, he needs a jacket on. He needs to do this. He should
Mm.
be doing this. And I love you, Mom. But if you listen to this, Mama, I love you. But I don't know if it's like because he's here that she's more vocal about it, me do my own thing, you know what I mean? So for her to be a little bit more vocal, it's like, for real, you know.
Right.
But from like my grandparents, I just kind of expect it because they're kind of stuck in their ways at this point. I kind
Yeah.
of just block it out, but it's still aggravating nonetheless.
Yeah, and then I feel like people have to remember like every child is different too though. And then even like within your own family, like a family unit might have, different values and everything too. So something that worked for you and your child, 30 something years ago is not going to work for my child.
Right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. I learned that pretty early on because I would go to my mom and ask her when I was pregnant, like, okay, so what's gonna happen here? And at that point, my sister was 16, so that was the last time it had been 16 years since she had a kid, so she really couldn't give me too much advice
mm,
on what will happen because it's been so long. And I think that goes into with parenting too, like things change. Like we didn't have easy access to like TV even when my sister was born.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like we have tablets and phones and stuff right now. Like so parenting has really changed even within the last 20 years.
mm-hmm.
So I can't really, take advice. I mean, I can, some things don't change,
Right.
but some things like I got to do it on my own. I got to figure it out on my own or kind of get advice from people who have kids at least within the last decade.
Right.
But I think the biggest struggle with me, because I'm very introverted, but also kind of very blunt as well.
Mm,
So I struggle, especially right now, like with my grandparents and stuff. Telling me, giving me advice with Ashton. I struggle to not come off as rude. You know
mm,
what I mean? Because I don't know, they understand that I'm an adult, and at the end of the day, he's my child and I'm gonna do what I want to do. But it's a really thin line to be like, your advice sucks. I don't really need it right now.
yeah.
To saying like, hey, I'm an adult. Like I appreciate you letting me know, but I I got this basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just been my struggle right now with Ashton. Like I got this. I'm gonna ask you for advice when I want it.
Mhm.
I don't need you to come to me with it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I'm almost the opposite. Like, yeah, we're both introverts, but I'm not blunt at all. If I feel a certain way about something, especially if I feel really strongly about something, I may or may not say it to that person. I'll say it to the people who actually matter, like my husband or
Hmm.
my kids or whatever. I'll express my feelings towards them, but to other people, I really don't, especially if it's just something that's related to something somebody said. I won't say anything back to them. I'll just take the advice and then move on pretty much. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we really different
yeah.
in that case. Because like I said, that's my huge struggle, especially with my grandparents. Well, specifically my grandmother is like, I don't want to come off as being rude or a hole or whatever, but I know how to put his diaper on. I promise you, at
Mm.
this point, he's over one. I know how to put his diaper on. I promise you. But I don't know, it's such a really thin line because you know how some people can easily jump to conclusions and take it as you being rude and
Mm-hmm.
yada yada. So yeah.
I know you was breastfed for how long?
Um, exclusively for 3 months, and then that fourth month, um, I was supplementing, and then after that, we went to full formula.
Mm. So I know that's kind of like a touchy subject, but like as far as when you were like breastfeeding or pumping or whatever, um do you feel like you became more open, like cuz I'm sure you were having visitors and everything. Do you feel like you became more open when people would come over and you would be breastfeeding, or would you kind of stop what you were doing? Would you go to the like the privacy of your own room, or like when he was in the hospital were you pretty open, or were you like covering up or whatever?
See, you know what? I feel like I was pretty open because I'm all like, girl power. I'm going to breastfeed in public. I dare somebody
Uh-huh.
to tell me to cover up.
Right.
Like I was all like that. So I think I was a little bit more open. Um, when I was in the hospital, a lot of my family, actually nobody, no women in my family breastfed.
Mm,
Um, so I was pretty much like the first one. So I couldn't like really get advice from my mom and my grandparents. I guess they came up in the era where it was like looked down upon. So they didn't even, if I
mm,
was breastfeeding, they wouldn't even come in the room. And like my grandpa for a while would call me to like, he'll let me know he was on his way. But when he was outside, he was like, hey, are you, you feeding him?
right.
So like around them, if I had to feed him like in front of them, I would go to a different room just out of respect for them. But like in public and everything, I was all for like I'm gonna be open. I'm so ready for somebody to
Yeah.
say something to me.
Yeah, I felt like I was definitely open. I pumped because I nursed a little bit like when they were in the hospital. Um, but I pumped for 10 months, and especially like when we were in the hospital, like I just opened up my gown and it had the little pump and everything going.
Mhm.
And then of course around the nurses, I didn't really care at all. Just pop it out and
Yeah,
do my
that's they
thing.
every day.
Right, right, yeah. But yeah, so definitely in the hospital, and then at home, because I was at home for a while after they were born. I rarely wore a bra. When people come over, I might throw a shirt on, but I'm not putting on a bra because I'm about to be pumping
Mhm.
again in about a half hour. And depending on who was there, I would either go to another room to pump or just put my little pumping bra on right there and pump or whatever if it was just
Mhm.
women around. But yeah, I definitely feel like I definitely became more open while I was breastfeeding or pumping for that long. So yeah, and I remember one time I hated, even though I was kind of open, I hated when people would just stop by the house, like, cause it
Mhm.
is like one time I don't, mom, if you're watching, I'm
This
trying
try.
to think if I want to say it. I love you, mom. One day, the boys are maybe about 4 or 5 months. We were at home. I think I was nursing one of the boys, and my mom, my sister, and I think my grandma had came over and like didn't call or anything like that. And I was pumping, no, I was nursing. And sometimes if they don't latch on right and everything can be really frustrating, or if they
Mhm.
sleepy and trying to, nurse at the same time, it's really stressful. So when they came over and didn't call at first, it just added on to that stress. So that I hate that. So not only I'm still this way. I hate when people come over and don't give me any notice, but when I'm doing something like nursing, that's a lot. That just adds on to the stress. But anyways, I do feel like I was very open and didn't care if a titty was out or something. So I just kind of
Yeah.
did my thing and didn't really care who was watching. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you got a problem?
Mhm.
You got a problem with me beating my job?
Right.
Yeah, I was so ready. Nobody ever said anything. Most of the time, the people that were coming over was like my mom and my sister. So I was pretty comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
being really open with them around. I don't know. It just became, for me, it became really stressful because I was also looking for a job at that point. So I
Mm.
think that's what kind of slowed down my supply. I was worried about that, worried about, the mommy guilt, first time mom type stuff on top of trying to look for a job too. I
Yeah.
think that's what, because I definitely wanted to breastfeed a lot longer than what I did, but life.
Yeah.
So it was a lot, but I don't know. I wonder if like just becoming a mom and being because I don't think I would have been that way if I didn't have Ashton. I know before I even got pregnant, I was so sure that I was going to like formula feed. I didn't even think like breastfeeding was an option. Like I said, none of the women in my family breastfed.
Mm-hmm.
So I never grew up seeing that. So it's just like it's kind of strange that like having your own child will kind of change you because with my introverted ways, that breastfeeding can be really anxious, especially in
Mm-hmm.
public. So it's
Yeah.
funny how that works with when they get here and how your whole life changed.
Right. Yeah, as far as I know, I don't really know anybody in my family that breastfed as well, but definitely in the hospital it was preached, that's the
Mhm.
best thing you can give your child. And then I definitely had that guilt of, you know, you know, they were born very, very early, they're sick. I need to give them, the best thing
Mhm.
I can give them. Let me do what I need to do. Pump, pump, pump. And I was like, that was my life for like
Yeah.
10 months. Pump, eat, sleep, pump, eat. Like that was I
Mhm.
breastfed around the clock every 3 hours, even throughout the night. I did that for probably 6 months, and then like after that, I would spread it out to like every 4 hours or whatever, 4 or 5 hours. But yeah, I was really crazy about it. Um, yeah, I don't know what I would have did if I wasn't able to, produce
Mhm.
enough milk for them. I don't know what I would have did because, like I said, I dealt with some guilt when it came to, producing milk and everything for them with our situation. So
Yeah, that's a whole nother mommy guilt right there, not being able
yeah.
to produce and like you said, you want to give your child the best and then plus you had to be on that schedule because you had two mouths to feed,
Mhm.
at the same time. So yeah, I can see how that guilt can really get to you.
Yeah.
So how is with the boys? They're in first grade now, right?
Yes.
So how is it with being an introvert and now they're kind of like in this new stage, going to school, kind of being on their own? How is that for you? Do you feel that you want to keep them close, or
Mm.
are you like, whew, finally, they're off to school, I can, have a breather type thing?
Um. I feel like because they started school like the same elementary school that they're at now. They've been going there since they were 3 because they have a preschool program there. So they've been doing this for a few years now, even though they're only in first grade. It was a little bit of a struggle when they first went. I mean, they went on the darn school bus at 3 years old. I'm like, they're too small. I don't want
Mhm.
them to go. Who's gonna protect them? There's no well, they had harnesses for the little kids on the school bus, so I wasn't worried about that. But who's gonna help them step off the school bus? The steps are too high. So I was, very protective, but just talking to some of the teachers and some of the intervention specialists and everything, they kind of push towards, hey, they need to be independent. This is going to help their, developmental growth and everything like
Mhm.
that. So now I feel like, I mean, I was ready for school to start back up again. One, because just, I mean, we're back into a routine of everything.
Mhm.
They're learning, and then they're going out and being social with their friends. They're meeting new people more than they would, during the summer. Because the summer they're just either at home because we're able to work from home a lot of days during the week, or they'd be at daycare, which the daycare that they go to during the summer is not very diverse. but the
Mhm.
school that they go to is a little more diverse than the daycare. So,
Mhm.
but no, it didn't really. I was excited. I was really excited for them to get back to school, and I'm trying to. Even though I'm an introvert, I don't want to um mold them into being introverts or being I'm not antisocial, but I don't want them to be antisocial or not want to talk
Mhm.
to people. So I am pushing for them to, go out, talk to their friends. There's a new little girl across the street who goes to their school now. They go over and they talk to her every so often. They'll play over there. And then even like at restaurants, they place their own orders now when we go to a restaurant. So
Mhm.
just kind of encouraging them to speak, tell so and so what you want, what you don't want, what you don't like. So I'm definitely trying my best to allow them to be able to speak and not be closed off or introvert like they see their mom. So
Yeah. So do you feel like are you seeing signs of, again, this word introvertness and
yes.
either of the boys, in both,
Mhm.
one more, or what?
Yes, yes. Definitely my oldest, the one he looks most like me. He has most of my mannerisms. I
Mhm.
feel like he's more of an introvert than what his brother is. He's somewhat shy. If there's ever like a assembly or something or some type of award ceremony at school,
Mhm.
he'll kind of have his head down or be looking around. Everybody's looking at him. He gets a little bit shy. So I definitely know that he gets that from me. I don't think I really came out of that till I was about probably in high school. I kind of started coming out of my shell and being a little bit more confident in myself. But I'm glad that I noticed these things now, and that's why I'm
Mhm.
pushing him to go over and say hi to, that the little girl that you saw at Target that she also goes to your school, or placing your own order at the restaurant, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. So I definitely see that in him. Trey, not so much. He's pretty outgoing. But definitely with Taj, and I don't want to change his personality, but I do want him to be confident in himself and um yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, well, I wish I would have had that little bit more of a push. I was more of a, like, for me, a punishment was to send me outside to play with other kids. Like, I wanted
Mm,
to stay in the house. So looking back, I wish that I was pushed a little bit more. Even like what you're doing, like, oh, just place your order, or go say hi. Little things like that. I wish I would have been pushed to do a little bit more. So as an adult, it wouldn't have been as hard.
mm,
But I feel like, I mean, if you ultimately are an introvert, I mean, that's just who you are,
yeah.
but it's helpful to be able to kind of work in the extrovert world,
Mhm.
like have those skills to be able to do small talk.
Mhm. Yeah, yes, it definitely is okay to be an introvert, but we also have to be able to live in this extroverted world, be able to,
Right.
go to an interview and, get that job or, do this presentation in front of the monthly meeting or whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, it definitely is okay, but there are some things that we need to be able to do to be successful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ashton's one, but right now he's taking a little bit more from his dad. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
yeah, I'm super happy about that. It does take him a minute to warm up, like literally a minute, but after that he's reaching out. He's a little bit too extrovert for me, but he'll go to people like you don't even know her,
Mm,
smiling at all these people. I mean, it could be where he is right now, just everything is new to him. So that could be it. So I'm looking forward to see, how he develops.
mhm.
All right, guys. So that will wrap up the show for today. But as always, we want to leave you with a quote. And this is one that I had found on Pinterest. And pretty much it says, when little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it is our job as parents to share our calm, not join in their chaos. And that is by L.R.
Mm,
Nose.
That does fit perfectly though, especially with like as soon as you said that, I was like, that is me. That is me and my oldest. Like whenever he would get really overwhelmed or really shy in front of people, in front of the church, in front of the school, whatever, like I could be that person. I can go up there, give him a hug. It's okay. Come on, you don't have to do this anymore. I
Hmm.
understand. I'm scared. I would be scared too, son. But no, I sit there. I give him a smile. You can do it. That kind of thing. And then I purposely will put him in situations where he has to get out in front of people and speak or do something so that he can build this confidence now versus in high school when he's forced to get up and do a presentation or something. But yeah, I definitely agree with not joining in that chaos or contributing to that
Hmm.
stress, but support your child in that so he or she can get through that and overcome it.
Yeah, for sure. And you just triggered why I picked this out too, because I so thank you. But yeah, it's as an introvert, I feel like I do get a little bit overwhelmed, especially in social situations. So it's going to be a challenge with me as Ashton grows over to be able to calm myself in order, to calm him as well. So
Mm.
that's kind of my thought process with picking that quote. That's going to be a challenge. I mean, luckily he's a little bit more social right now. I think that's just because he's a toddler. All toddlers are really social.
Mhm.
But if he does end up being like more on the introvert side, it's going to be a huge challenge for me to be able to, because like you said, if I'd be scared up on the stage too,
Mhm.
so I got to be able to not rush in like try to save my baby
Right.
and go ahead and let him know that everything's is okay, like with my face and everything, being there to
Mhm.
support him through that.
That's so hard because I mean, even with not being an introvert, you want to go, you
Yeah.
want to save your child. You don't want them to be stressed. You don't want them to be, scared or anything. But our kids have to go through things and overcome stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And it's best for them to be able to see us and know that everything's gonna be okay. I can get through this. I don't
Mhm.
always need somebody to come rush and save me.
Yeah. That was a good quote.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard though. That's gonna be so hard for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, you guys, it's been another episode of the Black Wallflowers podcast. I hope you guys enjoy this. This is going to be probably our longest one yet. I think it was a really good conversation. What you
Yes.
think?
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I think y'all will too.
Yes, for sure. Definitely let us know. Again, you can always find the podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. We're all there. If you prefer to leave comments, we are on YouTube, so you can hear the audio on YouTube and you can leave comments there. All the links will be down below. If you want to follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, although we really don't be on Twitter, Facebook. If you really want to reach us on social media, Instagram is the best, but all of our
Yes.
links will be down below. And we appreciate you guys listening. And
Yes.
this is episode what, 4?
Yes. Episode 4 already.
Yeah, we hanging in there, y'all.
Yes.
And we got, I think next week, well, not next week, but next 2 weeks, that episode is going to be really good too. So
Is that the one
definitely,
where we're breaking
yeah,
the gas? Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Y'all look out for that. That'll be good.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you're subscribed everywhere, wherever you listen to your podcast, and we will see you in another 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.